For my best, I'm going to go with Roschon Johnson.
You ran hard.
Here's another guy that, again, I still don't really understand how this whole running back puzzle is going to fit, but could he be pushing for at least RB2? Because Deontay Foreman had one nice angry run tonight, but other than that, like, it's been a quiet camp for him. And I still like Khalil Herbert, so I don't necessarily, and I think the Bears do too. I don't necessarily think, his job as the lead back is in any danger. But Roschon Johnson, he looked legitimate tonight from what we saw.
7 carries, 32 yards, 4.6 a shot, if you want to do the math on that. And the physicalness was there. What's your worst?
My worst was Tyrique Stevenson, man. That's 2 weeks in a row with not only 2 missed opportunities at an interception, this one definitely should have been caught, and it allowed a touchdown at the same time. But also 2 personal foul penalties now in 2 weeks, too. One was iffy last week. This one was a clear shot out of bounds. And, I mentioned this on the show earlier in the week, but I'll give a shout-out to Jason Leisure because he brought this up with all the chirping and the yapping and some of the stuff that's been out there on the practice field. And he was concerned. He's like, he said that Tyrique Stevenson seems like the type of guy that is going to be the one that gets called for a flag, whether it's after the whistle or something. And 2 games into his career, preseason or not, that's kind of what we're seeing. So I like the kid a lot. I'm very high on him. I still think it's going to work out, but that trend needs to end. You have to catch the ball, especially today. That's got to be a catch.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's crazy how it went through his hands without him even touching. Because somebody said on Twitter, he needs Stickum. Stickum would not have helped him there because he literally somehow did not touch the ball as it went through his hands.
He needed that glove that mascots wear when they catch the first pitch.
Well, and the penalties are worse than the missed pick. Because if you go back and watch the missed interception, the coverage was excellent. He read the play as the receiver's coming across from the left side of the field, coming on the back part of the goal line or the end zone. He's on basically 3 guys. He starts in the corner on one guy, moves into the slot, then fades back, reads the quarterback's eyes perfectly, and he just doesn't finish the play. So I can work with that. But the penalties, you got to be careful with that stuff. I like his aggressiveness. I like his confidence in himself. But if you extend drives, those are backbreakers in the regular season.
I think there's that fine line between, that confidence and then that arrogance, right? And I think that we can trace his history back at Georgia. He's like, no, I'm this. The coach is like, we said you're this. He's like, well, bleep you, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. Then he gets here. He shows up. He ascends to the top of the depth chart as the Bears wanted him to. But then I thought they were probably sending him a little bit of a humble yourself message in, all the time that they gave Smith. Like, listen, go out there and humble this kid a little bit. Smith took advantage of his opportunities. Then he got hurt. And I think that Tyrique the pressure's not there anymore. I can go back to being who I am. And I think that he just match your skills with a little bit of humility, get on the jugs, and go out there and do your thing.
And I've been felt a little bit wrong about it, but I've been calling out like, look, you are talking a lot for somebody who's been here for 5 seconds. And now you're throwing dudes out of bounds. Like there's got to be some level of maturation that's got to
harness
happen.
it a little bit.
You got to rein that in, man.
Yeah.
When he got into it with Claypool, it was like, Claypool, like, calm down. But as you kind of start to understand the psyche of Stevenson, I can kind of see why Claypool's like, hey, Rook,
right,
shut up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Like that. Like I liked Claypool at the start of it, and then Chase just kept going and going and going and going and going. Could have left it in. All right, my
best and worst.
My best. The fountain was flowing, baby. Buckingham, Darius Fountain was just. I mean, he was bursting. He was bursting in the end zone. Dude led everybody 5 catches, had the touchdown pass, and he could catch it a little cleaner.
He double caught it,
by the way, that's why it's not gonna make the team.
Well, but
can't double catch it.
Fountain was
That's what
flowing.
the scouts care about.
Fountain was flowing.
Buckingham
was
What was your original nickname for Fountain? Wasn't it something else?
Deuce. Darius
For the
Deuce.
record, it wasn't a nickname. It was
Started calling him Deuce
start
Fountain
calling him Deuce
for
Fountain?
no reason whatsoever.
well, it was the wrong name.
It was
wasn't a
Deuce's. See
nickname.
ya. The dude.
Oh, okay,
My man
see
was.
ya.
My
Hey,
man's blowing it
okay,
by everybody.
I like that. See ya.
Whatever. The fountain was flowing. I loved him. Buckingham lit it up tonight. My worst is, last week we had 8 sacks. Today we had 1. So, whoever you want to pick out, Travis Gibson. I didn't see you.
There's some missed opportunities too.
Yeah.
Dexter missed a sack in the first half, where he could have had the guy down.
He did.
Yeah.
So
was
maybe
Anthony Jones missing one in the
There
second
was
half.
some pressure, but not enough sacks like last week.
yeah. Just
But your guy, Terrell Lewis.
Terrell Lewis,
Another
baby,
strip
making the team.
sack.
Lock it in. Terrell Lewis,
There you
best
go.
pass rusher the Bears have had since camp started. I know Ngakwe is better, but he hasn't played yet.
is that your best?
No, my best and worst aren't players; they're plays.
Okay.
My best is we have a screen game, ladies and gentlemen.
I like that.
Last week, we ran 2 great screens. This week, we run a nice delayed screen to Roshan Johnson, set up nicely. They ran a screen to Dante Pettis. The blocking wasn't there. The irony of the screen pass to Pettis, though, was it just kind of put on display the difference between last week and this week when it was DJ Moore in the starters versus Dante Pettis and some backups. The play didn't develop the same way.
Yeah.
Talent matters when you put him around Justin Fields, see what happens. My worst is punt returns. Adam was talking about it before the game. Let's freaking get our punt return game going. Yeah. And Dante Pettis' turn this week to step up with Velus Jones out, and he didn't look that good returning punts. And I know he's reliable, but it'd be nice to have a difference maker. And tonight, it didn't even seem reliable. It seemed shaky at best. So punt return is still something this team's got to figure out. But the screen game, I'm liking what I'm seeing. And the Bears have always sucked at screen games.
Always.
So
Although they work it relentlessly and it never works out.
Yes, they run them relentlessly too, and they never worked. So it's nice to see them running them to succession right now.
For me, best, I will go Terrell Lewis. Like, just continuing, again, what we've seen throughout camp. He's had a consistent camp, shown the ability to put pressure on the quarterbacks, has been to get that edge. He's got some counter moves off of it. Second week in a row, you get a strip sack. And he's been consistent. I'm with you, Braggs. He makes the team. I don't know what that means for Travis Gibson or Rasheem Green. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But good on Terrell Lewis. My worst, Nathan Peterman. How do you not get the ball out of your hands on the last play of the game? Like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? At least get the ball in the air, sir. Like, that's why you may be looking at your last snaps in the National Football League.